Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for another episode on the Travel Collective. It's 2025 and a lot of the publications have released their trends, their what they're thinking, and Travel Lit was like the first thing that popped up on Condé Nast, who has Travel Magazine. It's still being out there on your newsstands. I know a lot of us don't consume travel in magazines as much anymore. We go to blogs, we're on Google, we're on the internet, on YouTube or whatnot, but the book thing really was interesting. And recently I've talked to some small tour operators, and they too are kind of crafting tours around this whole idea of book tourism. So I'm excited to have a conversation with Linda, who is also an author herself, a travel author, and she's in Australia today. So welcome, Linda.
Hi, April. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm really excited about our chat as well.
Well, good. So the book theme, is that something you've kind of been running across on over in Australia or in travelers you're talking to or seeing more book clubs pop up perhaps? What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think books are being really influential with people with travel. So I think there's two parts to that. Authors are also sort of engaging with each other via book fairs and similar sorts of things like that. Later on this year, I'm going to a book fair within Australia. So we're sort of getting involved in that. But I think also with travelers, they're wanting inspiration uh, to go to places. And I think the set jetting was one trend where, say, White Lotus and some of those other
Yes.
Netflix series have given people, and Emily in Paris, all those sorts of ones have given people inspiration. Oh, let's go to Paris, let's go to, Sicily and all that. So I think books are having a really influential part in where people travel to. If we go right back, probably a few years, Eat, Pray, Love
Oh,
was
yes.
a book that was really influential. Excuse me, and my cold.
Yeah.
Um, yes, sorry about it, if you can edit it out. Um, yeah, Eat, Pray, Love. So that was really something. It was like a transformation that she went through. She started in Italy and then went to India and then went to Bali. So I think it's always sort of been in the background, but I think travelers are always looking for the next trend. And I think that's where the books are coming in handy. And also, April, when you're traveling, that's the time that you read as well. So, there's books that you see everyone else holding and you go, well, actually, I better go to the airport bookstore and get myself a book as well. So
Yes.
yeah, it's all about that relaxation that we do when we travel and all that. So I think, yeah, book. I'm not surprised that that's come up and it is a bit of a trend.
Yeah, I don't think I'm too surprised either. I think it's been kind of around for a while, but now we're seeing even as many choices as people do have to watch different shows around the world. You know, we have Amazon and Netflix and YouTube series and Hulu, and they all have different things going on. People are drawn. I mean, Outlander had a huge, and that was based on a series of books. And, it's really driven tourism to Scotland and other places. But I think even going back, years ago too, I mean, I know for me, growing up as a child, Christmas time, a lot of the traditions in the United States, at least, are kind of based on things out of Charles Dickens' books.
Mm.
The trees, getting the turkey or, prepping your home. So I know my first journey to London was to kind of follow in Charles Dickens, kind of realize that, hey, this guy really, he's not just a figment of our imagination. He's a real person, then based his stories on places he knew and grew up in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that has a lot of influence as children. We have a lot of influence. I think we're like a sponge when we're children, and we absorb everything about the world and about reading and about people around us, what we see on TV. Yeah, it's. I think that's a real formative time in our life. And I know for me, I started traveling as a child, and it blew my mind. And that's why I do it, now in my adult life because it was such an influential thing. And so stimulating and so new. And I think it becomes quite addictive actually. Once you get that travel bug, you want to do more of it. You're looking for that travel hit, right? And to see
Yeah.
something new. So yeah, it's really interesting, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I do think that, there's a lot of kids too that as children, they may not have had the luxury of being able to actually see places. So they are influenced by what they're reading or, what they're seeing. Magazines, or I know my grandmother used to have this stack of old like National Geographics, and I would like, kind of flip through them and I'd be like, oh my gosh, where is that? And so it does, these visions kind of stick with you. So you're kind of intrigued and drawn to, right, where is that next place that I haven't seen? And I think of books, writers, they often do a really good job of painting pictures with their words and describing places. And as you said too, it never fails when we take long journeys now. We're on a plane, we're on there for many hours. I'm often looking for a book tied to where I might be going or where I might be inspired to go next. Like, okay, I'm on this trip, but now where to next?
Yes, absolutely. And I think you bring up a really good point. You build a picture when you're reading something in your mind, and that's if an author can do that, that's a really good thing because each person will have a different picture in their mind about what they're reading on the words. Um, and when as an author, when you write it, you've got that picture as well that you're trying to describe or sort of show people. So yeah, I think writing. I mean, I'm biased. I like to write and write books, but I think the most enjoyable thing is drawing those pictures for people or trying to give them something where they can draw their own pictures from it.
Right, exactly. So have there been places that you've gone based on a book or that you want to go because you've heard about them via a book, a movie?
Um, I don't really think so. I mean, look, Eat, Pray, Love was one was like, oh, I haven't been to Bali for a while. Better get back there. And I haven't quite been to India, but absolutely, like, yeah. I mean, there's books. I think you're drawn to certain books. So I've got a real love of Italy,
Oh,
and if
yeah.
there's a book about Italy, I'm drawn to that book immediately. So I think you're drawn to certain books. And I know for myself, if I see a book about Paris or I see a book about Italy and it's got a story, I tend to be drawn to those. Um, to say that I've got an idea to travel somewhere, I think they're probably traveling there already. I don't think
Yes.
that's given me the
Yeah.
extra idea. I think I'm already going there anyway. But everyone's different, right?
Right, exactly. Because I'm kind of like you, I think. Sometimes it's like I see a place, and then once I kind of actually experience in person, it's like I want to go that next layer. And like you mentioned, Italy, I think there's a book, it's called Beautiful Ruins by Jess Walter, and it's about the little
Mm.
villages on the Italian coast. And she just does this amazing job of painting the people that might live there, the experiences they might have. So it kind of fills in what you can't take in, in your first journey somewhere. It's kind of like your first time to a beach or a coastline or something. Like even Ireland, where we'll be going later this year. It's like we see what's
Mm.
there, the landscape and maybe some tumble down ruins, but what happened prior, years ago, those books kind of fill that in for us and make it all that more interesting.
Yeah. And I think, sometimes you've got that picture in your mind. When you actually go there, it's different.
Yeah.
Because your mind builds that picture when you're actually in reality, it's like, well, I built that picture, but well, oh my goodness, it's even more mind blowing than I thought it would be. But that's the beauty of travel, I think, and also the imagination. Our imagination. I know my imagination has taken me to a lot of places. And you think about bucket lists. There's places on your bucket list that you want to go to, but your imagination's like building that picture in your mind about it. Um, and then you end up seeing it, and it's even better really than what you thought it was going to be.
Oh, I agree 100%. just like Ireland, I have been there. And my first trip, I'd heard about this Aran Islands, and we took the boat out there, and this old, I think, I'm not sure if they've dated it back to which culture of people, but there's this like literally fortress on the edge of the cliff, and it just drops off. And until you actually go experience that, you're kind of feeling the wind. There's nothing like it until you actually experience it in person.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. And, it's so magnificent and it really enriches our life. I could talk about travel all day,
Yeah.
April, as you know.
Yeah, I could too, but I mean, a lot of times too, I'm not sure it's the book. I think sometimes for me, it's like the book kind of comes after or along with my choice of where I'm going. But for some people, it may
Mm,
be, opposite. But, now that I'm going to Ireland, it's like I might look for something that takes place in Ireland or, to kind of fill in, like I said, the,
mm,
imagination and the, what kinds of people may have lived here or what was it like years and years ago.
absolutely. Yep, I would agree.
So, do you have any books that I know you're an author, so you might as well share a little bit about the books you have written since you've got a couple now.
Yes. Yeah, so I've got two series. One, the Smart Travelista guides, which are travel tips on different topics, but the travel creative writing that I've done is with Annex from Abroad. And really, this is a collection, and there's three books in the series of instances that I found myself in that weren't how I wanted them to turn out. But I think with travel, if everything turns out perfect, it's quite a boring trip, in my opinion. I think the things where you get into a little bit of trouble or a little bit of something else that you didn't expect actually makes it more entertaining. And there's also people that I've met, and it's about their stories as well, because we've all got a story to tell. And so, yeah, I really enjoy writing those books because it takes me back to the memory and also the time. And yeah, I like sharing them with everyone because I don't know, you can maybe learn what not to do from some of the things that I've done. Um, or if you really want a bit of adventure, do those things that I've done. So it can be either way, but yeah, so it's been a great journey writing those books. And I've had a lot of good feedback from people saying that they've loved them. So, you know, the tagline line is, "We all like a bit of drama, right? We all do like a bit of drama."
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
And
but
I
yeah,
think the books too kind of share the story in a way. It's like if everything goes right and perfect, those trips often aren't that memorable. It's when something kind of goes astray that, and you're forced to maybe change your plans or make adjustments. Those kind of things kind of stick in your head of, wow, maybe I shouldn't have done it that way or, but honestly, those adventures, they do stick with you longer than everything going just as it should go, I think. So I think it's to
yeah,
inspire people. Don't be afraid, do the best you can.
mm,
Even the best laid plans, you can't guarantee that the airline's gonna things, the weather, the airline, whatever it may be, the hotel not losing your reservation or something, but to go and explore and get yourself out there.
yeah. If you're going to be a traveler, you've got to take the good with the bad. And we hope there's not a lot of bad and it's mainly good. But you learn from things that don't go right. And it makes you a stronger person, I think, and more resilient. And as travelers, we want to test ourselves, don't we?
Yes.
We don't want to have someone hold our hand. And I mean, that is boring. I mean, and it's good for some people, don't get me right. But if you want to be an adventurer, you have to be an adventurer. But obviously, do that with a bit of safety as well. We don't want to go into war zones or anything like that. Um, but it's just about, yeah, experiencing everything the world's got to offer because we've got such a wonderful world. We're so blessed, and the ability to travel. So, we don't want to take it for granted, but we want to really live.
Yes.
So a lot of really famous people have said traveling is to live, and I would say that they're totally correct in that.
Right. And we often hear a lot of people as they get older regret the travels they didn't take.
Mm,
We're seeing a lot of devastation around the world from various events that are happening, but it's like, you know what, this mug or whatever, these material things, they could disappear just like that. But it's your
mm,
experiences in life that really you can hold on to and take with you. So I am of the full belief, like, spend your money on experiences, don't wait.
mm.
I think there's a place to go for every budget. And I think we're blessed now with technology that we have access to finding, good travel deals or finding ways to volunteer or do hostels or however you see your travel. There's ways to do it on any and every budget, I believe.
Absolutely. And there's something for everyone. If you want to go and you've got a lot of money to spare, there's luxury travel. Um, somewhere like Bora Bora in an overwater bungalow that's going to cost you a lot of money. Or you can go somewhere like Vietnam or to Bali, Indonesia, and your money goes that little bit further, and anything in between. So, yeah, I think it's really great. Travel is a lot more accessible now for a lot of people. And I think that's a great thing because the best education is to travel. You become more grateful for what you have in your life, and you get to understand other people as well. So it can only be a good thing.
I agree. I agree. So tell people, Linda, where they can find your books if they want to check those out, and two, tell them about the book fair that you're going to be a part of. That's exciting.
Yeah, so if you're interested in any of my books, you can go to Amazon. They can be bought there. You can also go to my website, thesmarttravelista.com with two T's. If you're in Brisbane or Ipswich, Australia in April, I will be at a book fair. I will have my own table with all my books with some other authors, and we are going to have a all-day Sunday book fair. If you're interested, reach out to me and contact me. So if you're going to be in Brisbane or Ipswich in Queensland, Australia, please reach out and I can let you know all the details. One great thing about it is the tickets are free to go for everybody. So for authors as well as for readers who are after, their next book that they want to read. And yeah, it's just you've got to get to the place, which is to be confirmed at the moment. But it's going to be a wonderful day, and I really like engaging with people. So come over if you're there. Come over and introduce yourself, or I'll introduce myself, and then we can talk travel.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Linda. And for your listeners out there, check out the travel station. It's thetravelcollective.com, and we're hosting some more interactive coffee chats throughout the year. So check that out too. Thanks, guys.
Sorry, it's going to blow the nose. Sorry about this.
I'm trying to find the stop. Oh, here it is.